Good evening. Thanks for joining us on this evening's edition of WION Fineprint. I'm Molly Gampi. Starting off with the lead story at this hour. India has reacted sharply to the Pro-Khalistan rally that is being organized in London on the 12th of August. The spokesperson of India's Ministry of External Affairs has called it a separatist event and expressed hope that the British government would act appropriately. He said that India had made its objections clear to the British government, both in writing and otherwise. The controversial Pro-Khalistan rally in London is being organized by Sikhs for Justice. The goal of the rally is to hold a non-binding referendum in 2020.
On the funding part, it is difficult for me to take a guess on that. I think this is something which the investigative agencies have to respond to. But on our own request, you see, it is difficult for me to reply on behalf of what the UK government has said. You see, I think, but let me make our position very clear, which is that we have drawn their attention to the fact that the event in London is a separatist activity which impinges on India's territorial integrity. We have said that it seeks to propagate violence, secessionism, and hatred. And of course, you know, we expect them to take into account the larger perspective of the relationship when they take a decision in such matters. We have told them in writing, we have taken it up in person as well, that this is what we feel about the rally. And I think we will have to just wait and see now.
We now focus on a plan that President Xi Jinping of China and the Communist Party of China have drawn up to inculcate their idea of patriotism in Chinese academics and intellectuals. Remember, just last week, a retired Shandong University professor, Sun Weigong, disappeared without a trace. Voice of America's Mandarin service was interviewing Sun when police barged into his home. Apparently, the professor's criticism of Chinese aid to Africa when many in China lived in poverty did not amuse the Chinese government. The world has not heard from him ever since. Nobody knows of his whereabouts. Professor Sun is one of the latest examples of Chinese nationals paying the price for not towing the government line. And on 31st of July, the Communist Party officially launched a new patriotism campaign. Its targets include colleges and universities. A notice published on a section of the Chinese media called it, quote-unquote, carrying forward the spirit of patriotic striving and building up establishment in the new era. Now, the immediate provocation for the patriotism classes being the murmurs of discontent making their way into the tightly controlled social media there. Zhu Zhangron, a law professor at Tsinghua University in Beijing, recently wrote in an essay circulated on social media that, quote, people throughout China, including the entire bureaucratic class, are feeling a sense of uncertainty, amounting anxiety in relation both to the direction the country is taking as well as in regard to their personal security. These anxieties have generated something of a nationwide panic, unquote. That's what the professor said. Another professor, Gu Su, a professor of philosophy and law at the Nanjing University, says, and I'm quoting, many opinions they have not dared to voice in public before are being published now. Many have concerns about policies and the direction the country is heading in. Some are calling for changes and a return to the policies of Deng Xiaoping. This latest move by China also coming at a time when it is faced with the domestic criticism over the trade war with the United States, which is only escalating, and over amending the constitution to remove the two-term limits on the presidency. And along with Argentina, there are several other countries that are not so open to the idea of abortion. Religion and culture determine laws surrounding abortion, and there are 18 countries around the world where abortion is banned entirely. Here's a look at 5 countries that have the strictest abortion laws. Predominantly Catholic, Malta is the only country in the European Union with a total ban on abortion. Terminating a pregnancy here can attract a jail term of up to 3 years. El Salvador is another country with draconian laws relating to abortion. It is illegal under all circumstances in the South American country, even when the would-be mother's life is at risk. Not surprisingly, the Vatican features on this list as well. The independent state within the city of Rome holds abortion illegal under any and all circumstances. Terminating a pregnancy is banned even in cases of rape or if there is an identified abnormality in the fetus. In Poland, abortion is illegal except in case of pregnancy arising out of rape. Even then, abortion is permitted only within the first 12 weeks of pregnancy. The country does make an exception if the woman's life is in danger and if the doctor feels the need for an abortion. Then comes the predominantly Shiite country of Iraq, which also has a strict abortion law. It is illegal and can attract criminal charges, though in rare cases it may be allowed if doctors confirm that continuing with the pregnancy could place the mother's life in danger. But there are several countries that have restricted laws in place when it comes to abortion. In the recent past, many countries have relaxed their laws after sustained campaigns. For example, Chile, until last year, there was a total ban on abortion there. They have now relaxed the law and termination is justified in cases of rape or if there is danger to the mother's life. In Germany, abortion can be done on request but only before 12 weeks of pregnancy. Beyond 12 weeks, abortion is allowed only if there is a deformity in the fetus or if there is danger to the mother's life, but that's rare. The third country where abortion is allowed is in India, but only up to 20 weeks of pregnancy. Post that, it is allowed in the rarest of rare cases if the mother's life is in danger. Even the United Kingdom has a restrictive abortion law in place. While it is until 24 weeks, at least 2 doctors need to agree on the necessity of abortion post 24 weeks of pregnancy. Only if the mother's life is at risk, termination of pregnancy may be allowed.